Hey, what's up you guys? Aftershare Reacts here, and today I'm going to be reacting to the series finale of Legacies. So this is season 4, episode 20. I mean, the show probably would have ran a little bit longer if it got the chance to, but it was cancelled and they had time to wrap it up. So here we are. This is the series finale. It's the last episode. So I decided that I would dress in the same outfit that I wore for the pilot episode. My hair's a little different, and I get a headset. But yes, we're here. So yeah, I started Legacies on August 3rd, 2020. And I was so excited about this show. I loved the pilot. I thought the pilot was great. It was a great introduction to all these new characters. And I recently, literally over the last week, watched the first 2 episodes because of my friend. She's been wanting to watch the show for a long time now. And so I was like, hey, she was over and we're playing some games, some card games. We're playing Unstable Unicorns, which I won, in case you're curious. Anyways, and so I was like, hey, you want to watch the first episode of Legacies? And she was like, yes! Because she's been waiting for her roommate to decide to watch Legacies, because they wanted to watch it together, but it's been like 6 months. And anyways, and you know, we watched the first episode and I was like, wow, this was good. This was a good pilot, you know? And then, you know, she wanted to watch the second episode and I was like, okay, we'll watch the second episode. I feel like the second episode really establishes the world that we live in this TV show. Like the concept that there are other creatures other than just vampires, witches, and werewolves. And it, you know, brings the question, how? So yeah, going back to like where the show began, it really makes me sad where we are now. I think it's pretty obvious by now that I think the show kind of devolved into a bit of a mess. I don't know what caused it to do this. I don't know whether or not they got a specific showrunner or a specific writer in that they just kept going back to. But yeah, the show definitely took a turn, I feel. And, you know, last week's episode really kind of pissed me off. Like, it really, like, it is weird that the Charmed penultimate episode was better than the Legacies one. Considering Charmed was awful, like, throughout its the first 3 seasons. I can't believe that, like, that Legacies has made me feel like this, considering how much I adored the show at the beginning. And I know I'm not alone, but I know that there are people out there that really love the show, and that's fantastic. I'm glad that you guys get something from it that I don't. I'm sad that I don't get what you get. But yeah, this episode ends an era on my channel. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I've stated this before, but the TVDverse was one of the first shows on my channel. So I started with the Vampire Diaries, and it was literally, where was it? Yeah, so the pilot episode was posted on December 11th, 2017. Yeah, so that was like, my first 3 shows that I did was Buffy, Vampire Diaries, and Supernatural. And Supernatural's over, so this is the last of the OG universes. So it's very sad to kind of say goodbye to it. Whether or not we'll come back to it in a couple of years, if there's a spin-off or reboot, I don't know. I guess we'll find out, I suppose. But I'm really sad that this is where we are. This is the end. I mean, I honestly feel like at this point there isn't a whole lot the show can do. I would say the show is a little irredeemable, but then, you know, I thought that, you know, Charmed was irredeemable, and then they had a really good last season, so I don't know. I'm just sad that it's going out on, like, a low note. I don't know. Yeah, so we'll probably go over the comments for both Patreon and YouTube, just because, you know, it's the last ever episode, and why not, you know? So let's go over the Patreon comments first. It's sad that this TV universe is coming to an end. TVD reactions were how I found your channel in the first place. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you found the channel, due to TVD. You know, the Vampire Diaries will always have a special place in my heart because, hello, they have Delena. I miss them. I miss them so much. Yeah, it's very sad. Ooh, okay, we got a nice long comment. What an absolute clusterfuck this show is. Let's start with Landon. Out of nowhere, the ferryman woman can change herself back to her original self so she can explain to Landon how she became stuck in that form, but apparently not stuck, only to offer Landon the position so he could do the same thing as well. So 3 characters' deaths mean nothing. Yep. Next, MG. Oh, MG died. Yay! They killed a main character. Wait, what's that? Fucking hell, Landon controls Limbo. Ethan sacrifices himself, so let's do a monologue about how great he was, even though once he stole your daylight ring and then also sided with Malivore, didn't actually do anything to redeem himself, while also making reference to that cringy superhero storyline. Yeah, Ethan did nothing good. What were you talking about? I don't think he's done anything good. The only good thing that he did was die. Or leave. But then, like, we saw him again anyways. I don't understand why we're talking this guy up. Enzo did more to redeem himself than fucking Ethan did. And Enzo was a plot device. I ain't never letting that go. Anyways. Now Caleb. Yes, let's kill him in the previous episode to find Landon in Limbo and say how he needs to be brought back to life because he is needed. Only to have his dragon breath, which did absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. Wait, let's send that dragon breath to Josie. Maybe she can do something with it since her leaving did just about as much as the dragon breath did. I feel like you're angry and I understand. Now Cleo. No, nope, not going there. Don't want to spend years to go through everything about what the fuck she is. She's now a Fury, let's just leave it at that. I don't even know what that means. Ethan. Oh, Ethan. Why the fuck did we get this character added to the show? We didn't even get a gruesome, horrible death that we deserved. Fancy that. He has found Landon in Limbo. Prediction, return to life, but as human, or becomes a ferryman, and MG rejoices. Let's... and Landon finds peace. Let's finish this off with some predictions. Lizzie and MG finally become a thing, blah, blah, blah. Which, to be honest, I don't really care for. I don't know. I feel like they established them, especially in the first 2 episodes, as, like, good friends. And then all of a sudden, I don't know when it happened. There was no, like, turning point. Just all of a sudden, she was really into him. I don't know why. Hope kills herself with the staff to be with Landon. They find peace. Well, then that would mean that Klaus's death would mean nothing. Alaric makes a speech. Well, fancy. Who would have ever guessed? He does like these speeches. Maybe Caroline returns to the final episode. Headphone warning probably required if that happens. Maybe. I mean, she would be the only one to appear on all 3 shows then. I don't know. And finally, hopefully, Julie Plec never gets a writing gig ever again. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't know what the fuck was the point in bringing everyone back. I see that they were trying to do an endgame thing, which does not work at all. At all, no. Not when, you know, they just kind of died 5 minutes prior. And, like, so here's the silly thing, okay? Here's what really pissed me off. Caleb's like, alright, Landon, I need to be brought back to life. Why do you think he has any way to do that? Right? He did, okay, but why would you believe that? If Landon has been stuck in limbo this whole time, why would you think that he has a way out? Whatever. He did. Supposedly you can only do it once, but he did it to like 4 people. I don't know how many people fucking died. I don't care. Right? So they need a dragon. His dragon breath did nothing. All they did was try and hold down Zeus. I'm not calling him Ken. Fucking what the fuck? Oh, that pisses me off. Sorry. I'm good. And then only for like Cleo to show up and catch the spear thing. That was her whole like epic thing that she could do. Like, that's why he was so threatened by her, so because she can catch things. Also, side note, why is it that like everything that Cleo does with her magic is always yellow? I thought that was related to her being amused, but if she's not amused anymore, why is her magic so yellow? I don't know. So yeah, she catches the spear and then basically just gives it to Hope and she gets the final blow. Which I feel like, technically, in that scenario, Cleo probably should have gotten the final kill. But, you know, Hope's the main character. She's got to have the final blow, right? They can't ever give it to a character that actually deserves to get revenge on someone. I mean, she deserved to get revenge for Caleb. But then again, in that scenario, she didn't even acknowledge that Caleb was alive. Because he was. That whole scenario was just a mess. And then on top of everything, right, if Zeus had never told Cleo that she was a Fury, she would never have mentioned being a Fury to, I don't know, was her name Jen? Whatever. And then Jen would never have told her who she really is. And then she would never have shown up at that fight. I have so many problems with that whole everything. I get that they had to wrap it up. But oh my god. Also, where did he get the ashes from? I don't understand. This isn't how this shit works, okay? So, okay. The white oak stake will kill an original. The white oak ashes, which are made from the tree that the stake is made from, on a dagger, puts you to sleep. It doesn't fucking poison you. Where did this poison come from? It didn't even stop her anyways. So many issues. I'm sure I'll come up with more things that I have issues with, but let's continue to read these. Honestly, I think Legacies had so much potential to be an amazing show. They were literally telling the story of Klaus Michelson's daughter, and I do actually think the first season of the show was good and I was invested. But after it was a miss after miss, making Landon Hope's entire personality and storyline for almost 3.5 seasons was a big mistake, and having Malivore be around for as long as he was a huge misfire. That Mudman should have been gone after season 1, especially since he had no personality at all. Like, he was literally just a drone, essentially. I also think keeping the Monster of the Week format for as long as they did also did them no favors. It was refreshing to begin with, but then you start to, remember why we don't like Monster of the Week anymore, and then it becomes really stale. I feel like we still don't know much about any of the side characters. Yeah, exactly. How did Caleb get turned into a vampire? Are we gonna learn this episode? How did MG get turned into a vampire? We got like one episode about that, but like we didn't actually get any specifics. Like in the first season of the Vampire Diaries, we learnt how Stefan and Damon became vampires. In season 2, we found out how Catherine became a vampire. In season 3, we learnt about how the Michelsons became vampires. Like, we had these flashback episodes, and we just never got those here. At all. They have also had 4 seasons to explore them. I mean, it took them 4 seasons to give Jed a backstory, and even then it was 15 minutes in one episode when this was a character we've known since season 1. I feel like they can't center an episode around Hope. Like, they can't not do that, if that makes sense. Like, you have other characters, you're allowed to focus on them a little bit more than just your main character. I mean, look at Buffy, for example. Buffy is the main character of her TV show. But we still get solid amount of story with all of the other characters. I mean, you learnt how Spike became a vampire, you learnt more about his backstory and everything. Do you think that we cut back to bloody Buffy in every fucking episode? Like, I'm pretty sure there was an episode where, like, the writers were just like, okay, how do we make this go back to Buffy in some way? And then they realized that it didn't need to. And so they focused on, like, the side characters of the show. And they realized pretty early on that the other characters matter too. And that's what's really frustrating, because I think that Danielle Rose Russell is so fucking beautiful, and I am in love with her, okay? But she overshadows every other character on the show, and the writers can't... she is the center of the universe. She is all that matters on the show. And it makes me really annoyed at her character, because that's all the show cares about is her. There are other characters, and it's really infuriating to me. Someone asked me the other day who my favorite Legacies character was. Actually, no, they said, I bet your favorite character is Hope, and I had to think about it for a second and said, no. Actually, no. I don't have a favorite character on Legacies. Because I don't know enough about the other characters, and I don't like the idea that the center of the universe is the only character that matters. Am I making sense? I think I'm making sense. There's probably so much more I could vent about, but these are some of the issues I can think of right now. I'm sad to be saying goodbye to the TVD universe. It's been around for 13 years, but at the same time, I don't think this show is ever going to get better than what it is, so maybe it's time to put it to rest. Maybe. Aurora! My Clara heart is like, aw, she sacrificed herself for Klaus's daughter. Also, all we ever focus on is the fact that she's Klaus's daughter. What about Haley? Haley was a character. Why do we never mention her mother? She's mentioned in the pilot episode, and then I don't think she's ever mentioned again. But my Aurora heart is like, fuck that. Ain't Hope a witch? She better teleport. Rip Aurora. I guess you got your redemption arc, but personally, I love you from the beginning. Like, you really didn't need to redeem in my eyes. Fair enough. There's a line that KLAUS said to Damon in 311. Crazy or not, that kind of love never dies. And I feel like that line could also be applied to KLAUS and Aurora. I always believe that there is still some underlying love there, but the hatred has just overpowered it. Also, I was wondering if you plan on making a separate video to read comments for the series finale, or if you're just going to read them to yourself. I would love to read the comments. I would love to. I just don't think I could find time. Like, I legit have so many things upcoming over the next 2 weeks. Like, the Umbrella Academy is dropping next week, so like I've got too much to do that I just don't think I can carve out time to read comments. But I will be reading them, and I will, you know, put in the extra effort to, you know, probably try and reply to them if I can. But yeah, okay. Then we got Tony's notes, and then we'll go through the YouTube comments. But I should actually just double check that it's okay to do that. Can you make sure the comments on YouTube are okay to look at for Legacies at the moment? We'll be reading. Just in case people have spoiled anything. Alright. What prequel series I would like to see? None. I mean, what would be the point? I mean, Winchesters. Which characters that we know are going to be alive later on would star in this supposed sequel show? Maybe they're doing a Alaric one. They really like that character. What would be the title? Zero Consequences in Mystic Falls? Maybe. Well, I did predict in the previous notes that Ethan would be back. I sadly was correct in that prediction. Yeah, big sad. Big sad. Also, before we got into this, while skipping through the episode to see if the quality was okay for me to upload this thing, I saw Caleb was going to come back. Legacies, the show where characters just don't die. And don't get me wrong, the Vampire Diaries did this too. The Vampire Diaries killed characters and brought them back too. Don't get me wrong, that happened. But there was always more emotional moments to it, and it always meant a little bit more, because Bonnie died, but like she was dead for like half a season. Alaric died in season 3 finale and didn't come back until season 6. You know, Camille died in the originals. And she only made brief appearances afterwards, just as like mirages. Like, Davina died and came back a season later. Like, they came back, but they gave time to grieve, you know? They made me believe that they were dead. You had to wait extra long to get the good quality episode. What can I say? I promised to get you nothing but the best. I tend to keep my promises. Not sorry at all. You're welcome, Fruits. Jed isn't dead. Even if he is, he's just gonna respawn. I mean, you're not wrong. And neither is MG. They probably have all the previously saved checkpoints, or have their friend just click E on the reboot van. I made a fork life joke. I need a shower. Another thing I also saw while skipping through the episode, Ethan is in limbo at the end, and how much do you want to bet that Lennon is going to bring him back to life too? Added later, probably next episode, but one can only hope that he won't be able to, because first of all, it's Ethan, and second, that means absolutely nobody died, except for Aurora, but I didn't give a shit about her to begin with. This whole not being able to use magic rule on God stuff is a bit flimsy. One moment you can use magic, and then the other moment you can't. The writers are just making shit up as they go along. I agree. I'm gonna go into a lot of depth about this because I talked about this to Tony. Okay. The whole siphon thing has always been weird, okay? So the way that they establish it, right, they establish that a siphon can only use magic if they siphon it from something, okay? So Mystic Falls is a no magic zone. So if someone with magic goes in there, like if they don't have any magic. So if a vampire goes in there, the vampire magic gets essentially siphoned away from them and then they die. The same way that they originally died, okay? This is all going to make sense soon, okay? So they're establishing that if you go in there, no magic. But then Kai goes in there and he sits down and, like, well, he doesn't sit down, he's actually chained up, but whatever. And he's like, oh, it's a magic spell. Because technically it is a spell. So he is able to siphon that magic, which doesn't really make sense in my opinion. It still doesn't make sense in my opinion, but whatever. So they've established that a siphon person can siphon magic from something that doesn't have magic, in an area that doesn't have magic. Okay? That's what they established. Despite it making sense in my head, okay, that is the established law. Season 1 finale, they use like a traveler object to make their no magic. Okay, so it's essentially the exact same as the spell, okay, but it's just an object that you need to turn on and off, right? Josie gets shot, and they're unable to siphon the magic because of the traveler spell. That don't make sense. With what they just established, that didn't make sense. Okay, so this is the new rule. The new rule is you just can't siphon magic at all if there's no magic around. Like if you're not allowed to use magic. Okay? But now we've got the gods, which you can't use magic on the gods. So they established in season 1 that siphoning is magic. So why can they siphon from gods? The original explanation on the Vampire Diaries makes sense in this season of Legacies, if that's what we're going for. But they established in season 1 of Legacies that wasn't the case. I really hope this made sense in someone's head, because I just tried my best to explain and it doesn't make sense. Like, as in, like, their canon is weird. Anyways, let's continue. Say what, MG? Ethan made the ultimate power move. Bish, he teleported Lizzie to safety. That's all he did. Let's not put him on a pedestal he doesn't deserve. I mean, yay for Lizzie being alive, but dial it down on the hero thing. Yeah. Hold on. What? My ears did not just hear this. Did MG say that Ethan's superhero name was Rescue Guy? For real? Come on, that can't be a thing. Was that a thing? Yes. That's so fucking lame. Added nowish. The picture of Ethan deserved to get a clown face edited onto it. I hope you did that. I did get spoiled on some stuff for the finale. I'll be looking out for you as always, trying to keep you safe, but of course I'll give you the full confession after you've watched it. My thoughts on a favourite episode, I can't say I have one. Maybe the ones where we had some cameos, favourite character, Hope and Lizzie maybe. I thought Hope was a bit of a badass at some points, but a whole lot of annoying with her Landon shit. Which is really weird, because I shipped her and Landon. But then that became her sole personality trait. Will I miss the show? Not really. Will I miss the verse? I feel I said goodbye a long time ago when the Vampire Diaries and the original ended. Legacies was, I don't know. It never really fully got to me. Fair enough. And so here we are, Fruits. I told you this day would when I started you I told you the day I started helping you out that I'd be with you till the end of the verse. This is the verse that started it for us, but I'm ready to move on, as in move on to whatever comes next. I'm not abandoning you. It's literally not an option. Okay. I'm looking forward to many more years of getting into all sorts of trouble in games because of the stupid ideas that we have, which are always fun, but also helping you out, be it with editing, site creation, art stuff, advice, whatever you need. I got you. Your friend always. Okay. Right, and then we have people talking on the some people brought up some interesting things on the currently no spoilers on the YouTube comments. Yes, great. All right, should be able to read these fine. All right, there were 4 to 5 deaths in this episode, and the only one that I felt anything for was Aurora. Lizzie watching MG die in front of her should have been devastating, but instead I feel nothing because I knew he'd be back in like 5 minutes. To be fair, this started for me back in like season 5 or 6 of the Vampire Diaries when they got rid of the other side to immediately come up with ways to bring characters back on both of the shows and the originals. Fair. Okay, I have to ask. She keeps saying how KLAUS was terrible to her and never showed her any kindness, but weren't they sickeningly in love until Elijah compelled her to dump him? Did they retcon her relationship with him? Is that what she's telling herself, or is she lying? This is true. Yes, like all KLAUS did was love her, and she got jealous when he was in love with Cammy and like joined up with the plan with Tristan and Lucian. Yeah, absolutely. See, even I kind of forgot about that, so I'm really glad that you pointed that out. And before that, she dropped Rebecca into the ocean, and when KLAUS got angry with her and decided to hold Tristan hostage until she brought Rebecca back, the woman had the audacity to flip it at him and say he was betraying her. It's like, bitch, you dropped Rebecca in the ocean! You really expect him not to be upset about that, and then you kill Cammy? Of course he's going to be angry and lash out. Anyone would. Exactly. I completely forgot about that shit. They're trying to brainwash me into thinking that Aurora was in the right. Nuh-uh. I will always remember what you did to Cammy. I really loved the first 2 seasons of the show. Then season 3 essentially assassinated Hope's character, making her awful and completely about Landon to the point of her hurting her friends like Leslie and Josie. With Hope turning her emotions off in season 4, it resulting in 2 straight seasons where Hope was unlikable. I kind of liked her having her humanity off a little bit. We also had Dark Josie get overused to a point of her being meaningless and boring. I agree. Personally, I think one of the biggest things that killed the show was Landon. I liked this character, but he really should have never made it past season 2. I mean, how many times do we need to watch Hope let him go? For me, the one prevailing thing of the show was Hope and Lizzie's relationship. That stayed strong and my favorite part of the series for 4 seasons. Fair enough. I absolutely love your videos. Okay, that was twice saying love. Alright. Also, White Oak Steak didn't put the originals to sleep. The White Oak Steak can kill the originals. Yes, I know. I'm saying that the White Oak Steak ashes put them to sleep. That's why they destroyed them all. But the White Oak Steak can't kill Hope. The Red Oak Steak can. The Red Oak Steak ashes would put her to sleep though. And they're talking about the ashes. All of the Red Oak Steak has been turned into ash though. Shouldn't it only put her to sleep? Yes. That's what I was saying. This show seriously retconned KLAUS. He wasn't evil to Aurora. When they first met, he was in love with her and treated her like royalty. Yes. Elijah was the one that compelled her to lie to KLAUS. When they met again centuries later, KLAUS still had feelings for her. He only turned against her because she held his sister hostage under the ocean. Exactly. Well, don't forget the whole killing CAMEO in one of the cruelest ways possible. Literally, I don't know if you guys know this. Like, I don't know if you remember this. Maybe you blocked it out of your memory. But the first time that KLAUS opens up with Cammy and they sleep together, I'm not sure if they actually say I love you. I don't actually remember, sorry. But they sleep together and it was really beautiful. And she gets up in the middle of the night and slits her throat because she's compelled to do that. She was also compelled to drink a little bit of Aurora's blood so that she'd be part of Rebecca's storyline and not anyone else's. But yes, that's what happened. And KLAUS wakes up to blood on his hands because she's dead. And then, like, she wakes up a little bit later, but the fuck? Aurora did see a kind and decent KLAUS in his early days. I hate that the writers did this. The second we had 2 and then 3 main characters, including Caleb, die, I knew that they had no balls again. This is at least the 30th resurrection in the universe. I don't give a fuck anymore, not gonna lie. Fair. The beating of Ken. Does anybody like the name Ken for this guy? No. Was Avengers Endgame on CW writing level. Yep. You are alone. No, she's not. On your left. Blink. The dead guys are there. Like, what the fuck? At least there was lasting consequences in Endgame. I'm so sad to see the TVD go, but more sad that Legacies didn't live up to its real potential. And I'm hoping that another something happens with the franchise. I'm hoping the finale isn't disappointing. I'm hoping it's not disappointing, but I'm not holding out hope, to be honest. At first I was thinking that Aurora had one of those little red oak steaks that Lizzie made, and that's how Ken ended up with one. But that doesn't really make sense, because I don't know why Aurora wouldn't just take it and try and kill Hope instead of trying to raise a god. I don't know. It feels like we're missing a whole chunk of story, and it's very possible it's just because, you know, they got cancelled, and I'm guessing when they took that break, they rewrote a couple things, reorganized a few things. I don't really know exactly, but I do feel like we're missing a giant chunk where, you know, it explains how he got the ashes. But then again, it's the only thing that would make sense on how he has red oak ashes. I mean, they could have just had like an offhand comment of them waking up Kronos and him going back in time to get the ashes. But no, they didn't say anything about that. They parodied Buffy again. Angelus and Aurora trying to stab Hope or Buffy. But they catch the blade with both hands. I mean, if you're going to copy Buffy, that's probably the one I'd go with. But they couldn't come up with a better line for Hope. I don't know if that was the same. I think maybe you might be stretching it there. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, they've definitely done a lot of the same kind of concepts, but I don't know if that's the same. I hate that the characters that died meant nothing. I thought Supernatural was bad at bringing characters back, but at least Supernatural made it make sense, and Supernatural actually kept the characters dead for good. I don't count the main characters and the different versions of characters that came from different universes, but Legacies takes the cake of killing off characters and making it mean nothing. I swear if Ethan comes back, I will give this season a 2 out of 10. I only like the death of Kerdenkopf, Zeus, and Aurora making the right decision. Ugh. You must not be paying attention to the previous episode because he said he had the ashes. No, that's not what happened. So what happened was, sorry, I am paying attention to the episode. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely paying attention to the episode. Even if I'm not paying attention to the episode, I have someone that watches this, and then they edit this, so they watch it twice. So that's 3 watches, and we spoke about this, and basically, they don't explain how he got the ashes. They don't. He has a conversation with Cleo in the astral world, where it's like, how do I kill the tribrid? And then she basically mentions the red oak stake and how it's destroyed. And then he goes, well, what about the ashes? And then she gives, like, the most awkward, and then I was yelling at the screen, say, lie. All you gotta do is lie. And she didn't. Instead, she gave it away that ashes would probably kill her, which is not true. But anyways. And then the next thing you see is his thing being made, and his, like, spear thing being made, and he has the ashes in it somehow. I don't know how he got the ashes. In my opinion, this episode was terrible. The charmed penultimate episode was epic compared to Legacies. I cannot agree with you enough. But anyways, this is where we are now. We are on the last ever episode of Legacies. I'm curious to see how they wrap things up. I'm hoping for at least one death to stick. Just one. I keep giving the show the benefit of the doubt, like, you know, people were talking about how Landon could just bring Caleb back, and I was like, no, I don't think that they would be able to, like, I don't think they'd do that. And then they did anyway, so, like, I keep giving the show the benefit of the doubt when it doesn't deserve it at this point. But I really want this episode to at least leave things on a high note. I hope I'm not disappointed by it. But yeah, that was 42 minutes of just talking about my thoughts and reading your comments. I'm going to take a very quick break, and then we'll get into the episode. Alright. For the last time, we got Legacies, Season 4, Episode 20, the series finale. Let's see how it ends. Oh, we're having a funeral for a character again. A character that's probably going to come back. Remember how we had a funeral last episode for you? I don't think this many people cared about Ethan, but okay. Why is that underneath
tell you
your
we
bed?
signed for this? It's from New Orleans.
The ashes?
Is that what it looks like?
Depends. Does it look like my father's ashes?
Probably my first guess.
You know, he funded this school for me. Said I'd always have a place to call home. I figured I'd honor that by scattering them here.
It's really nice, Hope. I'm glad you get to do that for him.
Are you doing okay? Any word from Joe?
No. I sort of thought she'd have found her way back to us by now. He told me not to wait for her, but
humanity is back.
I guess I'm not sure what my role is here without her.
Well, if you're looking for a way to help, maybe you can tell me what I'm supposed to do with this.
The only weapon on this earth that can kill you? No pressure?
It can't be destroyed. If I leave it out in the open, people are gonna come for it, and if I hide it, then I'm the only person who knows where it is.
Isn't that a good thing?
Not if I ever lose my way again.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, well, no one should have that kind of power.
You should be surprised.
Especially not a Michelson.
All students, please report to the Grand Hall for assembly.
You know, I made Ethan's
I think that's
mother
the
a promise.
only conversation they've ever had
Same
together.
promise I made your parents when they enrolled you here. That I would care for you as if you were my own. But here we are, memorializing yet another student.
It's fine, you'll probably be
And
back
that
in
is
5
not what
minutes.
this place was meant to be. Salvatore School. It was founded with a single mission. to create a safe space for young supernaturals. In reality, it's anything but. And achieving our mission statement, my mission statement,
You're gonna close the school.
is proven impossible. And because I can no longer keep my promises, the Salvatore school must close.
Yeah, let's put all of these people out on the road.
I have nothing more to say, other than I'm sorry.
What about I resign and let's get Bonnie to be the new headmaster? Because she would be way better.
You can't just make this decision without consulting anyone.
And what makes you think I haven't?
Well, you didn't consult me. If you did, I would have told you that we need this place. I need this place.
Hope Michelson, if there is one person I'm confident will find a new path, it is you.
I don't want a new path. I just got back on this path.
This path leads to dead kids.
He's gonna come
Take it
back.
from a former bourbon drinker. Just because something feels good doesn't make it right. Saying goodbye to the school will hurt, but each day it will get better. If we keep doing what we have been, the pain will only get worse.
So what will happen to
Maybe we don't
the
need
Salvatore
schools.
house then?
Maybe we just need a headmaster who can handle the pressure.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
What you
Let's
working
call
on?
Bonnie.
Oh, okay.
My mind is cluttered with thoughts, but my hands will not express a single one. First it was my powers, now my art is blocked.
Come to Atlanta with me.
I see you are not blocked.
Don't get me wrong, I want the school to stay open, but in case it doesn't, I want you to come home with me. Make it your home too.
That's the kindest thing anyone has ever said to me.
There is one condition though. I need you to know exactly what you're getting into, warts and all.
Okay, so tell me.
I can't. We're all the heroes of our own stories, Cleo. If I tell you mine like you've been asking, I'll just end up spinning it to get you to say yes. Which is why I want you to use those powers of yours to see for yourself.
We're actually
I don't
gonna
know
see
if I'm
this.
capable of such a thing anymore, if I wish to be.
Please try. I'm willing to open my mind to you, my life to you, but only if you want it.
I'm sorry, there's a boat?
Yeah, leaks a lot. Hard to steer. You'll see it for yourself when we figure out what's holding you back.
I already know that. It's that I don't want to go to peace. I want to go back to life. I mean, I was just getting good at living.
I'm afraid that's not an option.
Why? Didn't you bring everyone else back?
At a price. I'm a little fuzzy on the details, but I know nature won't let me do it again.
So what am I supposed to do?
You're the only one that knows the answer to that, Ethan. But I'll be right here to help you figure it out.
So you could have done this whole time.
It's been a minute since I've been summoned. You've become incredibly powerful.
Look who's talking. I heard you're the ferryman now.
It's weird, right? We've
Oh, I
come a long
guess
way
you can
from
summon the
milkshakes in the
ferryman.
square. What do you need? Help?
I need to see my father.
That was an option?
That's a big ask.
My father's in limbo, right?
And you've never thought to look for
Necromancer
him?
said that he can't find peace until I do, and let's be honest, I mean, I'm the opposite of peaceful.
Actually, I don't know. Limbo's kind of a big place.
You're the ferryman now, though, so you can find him. I mean, that has to be like 1,000,000 times easier than what you did for our friends.
What I did came at a cost. One that being here is making me realize is steeper than I thought. Everything's muted on this plane of existence. Dull.
While you're here, do you mind if I ask you for one more thing, though?
We're not
Not bad, huh?
actually learning?
I'm
We're not actually learning? Ugh. Sorry, give me a second. Sorry about that.
accustomed to my new power, so I did not yet see your past.
But you did see something, right?
I believe it was our future.
Still bad?
Caleb, it was beautiful.
Then why do you look so scared?
Because we're not destined to travel down this path together.
You can't close this school, Dr. Saltzman, because each one of these files is a person with a life who needs a home.
Face facts, MG. This school is dangerous for every person in that file. Every time we solve a problem, another one just pops up.
Their problems are why they ended up here in the first place.
To be safe.
The world is not safe for supernaturals. What we have here is a home, a family. You are breaking up the squad.
Do you really think that I want to do this?
Yes.
Caroline and I built this school for our daughter.
Where is she?
We've all been through too much. We need a fresh start.
This is a dumb idea.
That is a load of crap. You are running from grief because you don't want to hurt anymore. And in making this decision for all of us, you're doing exactly the thing that you promised Landon you wouldn't. When Josie left, you made some bad decisions. So you'd rather cling on to her than stay here and face a life that's different? So yeah, like I said, load of crap.
Look, Hope, if you were here to change my mind, it's like I'm telling everyone. There's no point.
I came to thank you, actually, for helping bring my humanity back.
I can't take credit for that. That plan was really...
Josie's. I know. She cast a spell on this pendant that I gave her and sent it to my family in New Orleans. That's how my humanity was able to break through.
Sure.
Anyway, she doesn't need it anymore, and she asked me to give it to someone who does, and I thought that person could be you. Just in case there's a voice
Sure, I
inside
guess
your
let's
head
link it back to the idea of
trying
why
to
she
break
left
through all of that
anyways.
fear.
That doesn't really make sense, but sure. That means it wasn't her choice to turn her humanity back on.
Drop it in.
I'm guessing he was brought back as not a wolf. Same way Tyler was brought back.
Hit me. Well, that answers that.
Why are you not in pain?
The only reason I could think of is that I died yesterday. So I thought, what if being brought back to life reset my curse? Kind of like your dad dying broke yours?
You don't think you're a werewolf anymore?
He still has the gene.
Well, I know I'm not now.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like I've changed a lot lately in ways that I'm really proud of. Being a wolf and leader of the pack has always defined me. So
now you
maybe
go,
this
Finch.
is someone's
her
way
role
of telling
now.
me I'm supposed to find out who I am without that.
Well, someone newly freed from that which defined him for millennia. I understand. But if you're going to be searching for something, please just consider letting me be a part of your quest to find it.
So, where do we go from here?
Josie found another school she wants to go to in Europe. She sounds happy, so of course I wanted to jump on a plane and chase after her. Chase that happiness, too. But you were right. I wouldn't be running to her. I would be running away from everything else. And that's not who I am anymore. So if you want to fight to save this school, I'm your squad. If you'll have me, that is.
I have always wanted you, Lizzie.
Then you should probably kiss me right now. Oh, go away.
I've been gone long enough, don't you think? Judging by the looks of things.
I'm sorry, I suck
Ah.
at camping.
We'll add it to the list of things we need to work on. Won't we, Milton?
Caroline! I need a minute. Just a minute. Just one little minute. It's Caroline! Sorry. Oh, I need a minute. Give me just a... You know, I can't actually remember exactly, but if this is true, then it's officially canon in my head that Josie is now going to the same school that Penelope went to. And they're getting back together and living happily ever after.
You're making me nervous. What's with all the suspense?
First things first.
I'm a
Your
realist.
dad found peace. Which, great news, right? But also not so great news because it means I wouldn't be able to bring him to you. But then I thought, I'm the frickin' ferryman. I am a metaphysical miracle. So with our two brilliant magical minds combined, we should be able to get you what you really need.
I don't need to see Star Wars again.
Okay, well, this is something even cooler, I hope. You remember when we had the Matrix marathon and then we got into the whole debate about whether or not the spoon was actually a spoon?
That's me. How are we doing this?
The screen is not a spoon.
Oh, the originals. I miss that. I miss it.
Hey ho. Greetings from peace. Landon,
This
I
is
think
not
this
what I
is what you
wanted.
wanted, so I hope this works. And thank you. You were right. It's incredible here.
What the hell? Bring it back.
Wait for it.
No.
My dearest hope. My littlest wolf. My miracle child. What a gift to be able to leave you one last message. So please, carry it with you in the years to come. I want you to know this. You will make mistakes in your life. That comes with being a Michelson. You will go through hard times. For no one with your power always knows how to use it properly. You will find love. And you will lose it. For such is the burden of immortality. But the most important thing about your life is that you live it. Because you are my peace. And I regret a lot of things. But I don't regret a single moment I spent with you. I love you so much. Always. And forever.
They got Klaus back. Okay. I wasn't expecting them to actually get Klaus back. That was very sweet. But I have to wonder. You can get a Joseph Morgan cameo. And I have to wonder if that's what they did. Just based on, like, I don't know, the fact that they didn't have him actually appear. But it's still so nice to see him do that. Oh, I don't know. I feel weird. I feel weird. It feels weird. It feels like a COVID thing. I don't know. It feels so weird. I have so many feelings.
What is all that stuff for?
You can't close the school.
Hope.
I know, things have not gone the way that you imagined. And yeah, maybe your mission statement's failed. But that just makes you like the rest of us. No matter what you founded it for, the Salvatore School's a place for second chances. To not be perfect. I may be the world's only tribrid, but I'm one of countless scared supernaturals around the world who need to be understood. So maybe our mission statement just needs to change, along with us.
Let's just put Caroline in charge.
Okay, I'm done. You can talk now. But you're not going to be changing my mind.
Well, that won't be necessary. I've been thinking about the future, too. Listening, actually, to, this, little voice in my head. It's telling me that you're right, by the way.
You're going to keep the school open.
Yes. And no.
Is it okay to
How
say
dare you
that your
deface
mom
the
kind of
Salvatore house
freaks me out?
for that?
I've never had a real boyfriend. She won't make it easy for you.
Boyfriend. Now that has a nice ring to it. Are you sure it's not too late for us to join Josie in Europe?
Very funny. No running, remember? Besides, we'd hate Belgium.
Duh.
We meet tonight under happier circumstances. The Salvatore School won't be closing its doors. But I will no longer be your headmaster anymore.
Good.
The school's founding purpose was to protect you from the world.
But now, I believe the world will and must get to know you and your abilities. Because the truth is, you deserve to be known. So, with your permission, it would be my great honor to tell those stories by writing the definitive history of the supernatural beings I have known. So when that battle comes, we will all be better prepared, armed with the stories of the ones that we love and those who we have lost along the way. Are there any questions or objections?
Yeah, we all probably have the same question. Who's gonna be our new headmaster?
Caroline?
Don't worry. We'll be keeping it in the family.
I still think Bonnie would be better, but Caroline works. She'd be such a fucking good headmaster. She's like so organized. Okay, implying that she'll be in charge one day.
Looks like I'm already out of a job.
I'm sorry, I was just daydreaming, Headmistress Forbes.
Interim headmistress. Which sounds a bit stuffy, doesn't it? So why don't we just go with Caroline?
Do you mind staying with me another minute?
Not at all. The dead can wait.
Some have waited long enough. Spara. When we're young, we're taught the distinction between a hero and a villain. Good and evil. A savior and a lost cause. But I've learned the only real difference is just who's telling the story. My name is Hope Michelson. I come from a long line of villains. At least, I used to think so, but I don't anymore. The school behind these gates once protected the secrets of people like me, and now we'll use those secrets to protect others. Because we're heroes. And today, we'll be opening our doors to the next class of supernatural beings, to teach them to be heroes too.
All right, everyone. First impressions last a lifetime. So with the gentle reminder that many of you are immortal, Hope, would you do the honors?
I'm never changing who I am.
Welcome home.
Wow, special guest star Joseph Morgan. Alrighty. You know, it would be kind of funny if, you know how like I take a screenshot of like the episode and like have it in the thumbnail. It'd be really funny if this was just the screenshot of the episode. Anyways, so that was Legacies. I see they were trying to like you know, kind of recreate parts of the pilot episode there in the end, with her wearing something very similar, or at the very least the same thing actually, as the pilot episode. Her opening the doors, it was kind of like her opening the gate, I think. And I guess they're just opening up the school to more people. I'm not really sure exactly. It was very nice to see Caroline again. Would have liked to see just a little bit more. but I'm glad that she showed up, at the very least. I'm sad that we didn't see Josie, but I think it is very much implied that she's now with Penelope. I don't know about you, but that's what I got from it. Finch finally found her, like, spot. She's the alpha now. And Landon can just come and go as he pleases, I suppose. It was very sweet to see Joseph Morgan make a little cameo. But I couldn't help but feel like it felt like a cameo from Cameo. Like, they, like, ordered one and was like, can you do this in front of a green screen? Like, I would never have thought, like, I really didn't think that Joseph Morgan was interested at all. I mean, he seemed to understand the fact that his character was dead and need to stay dead. Otherwise, what's the point if he shows up all the time? Which I admire a lot. And so, like, seeing him here was amazing. Like, I would never have thought that, like, it meant a lot, I guess, to a lot of people and fans of the whole series to see both, like, an Originals character and a Vampire Diaries character make an appearance. But I just, it felt like a cameo from Cameo. It felt a little less personal because he wasn't with Hope, he was on a screen. And so it felt like, you know, those COVID days where it's like everyone was in a bubble and I don't know, it just felt a bit odd. I appreciate the effort regardless. And it was lovely to see him again. But yeah, that's just how I felt, I guess. I guess we're never gonna get Bonnie as principal. Someone should probably check on her in the basement. She's probably bled to death at this point. For those of you who don't understand that joke, we made a joke. We just always had Bonnie blood for some reason. We always had Bennett blood, really. So we made a joke up that she's tied up in the basement and they just using her blood to, like, create prison worlds and stuff like that. Like, it's just a little joke that we made, I guess. Yeah, so Jed came back. He's now human again, which very much is like what happened to Tyler when he came back. So I guess that makes sense. I feel like that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if that is the case, that means he's a virgin too, probably. I mean, not after last night, but, you know. Anyways, so yeah, that was Legacies. I think it was very cliche to have, like, the final episode be like, we're closing down this thing. And then by the end, nah, never mind. And, like, we got to the conclusion that Rick is no longer going to be headmaster, and it's like, well, yeah, we all thought that that was a good idea, like, 3 seasons ago. Like, who here thought that he was a good headmaster? Just wondering. But yeah, it was decent. It wasn't the best episode in the world, but it was decent. Nice send-off, I suppose. Leaves the doors open for, you know, what comes next. I guess Ethan did technically stay dead, but we still saw his stupid ass face. How could you have, like, a sequence of Ethan and then go on to a sequence of KLAUS? Disgusting. How could you put those two in the same episode? I don't know. Yeah, let's just go back to that moment, eh? He seems a little older. I guess it is. I mean, it's bloody 4 years after the originals. Yeah, see, this kind of like whole thing just kind of, I don't know.
But the most important thing about your life is that you live it.
I love more than anything here the fact that he moved on, like he found peace. Like the fact in the beginning of the series she was told that he would never find peace as long as she's alive. And the fact is he did, and that is beautiful. I wish we got more Haley talk, that would have been nice, but you know, I guess we got a little reference of her like birthmark. And then a reference to, like, you know, Cleo is probably going to become the headmaster at some point. Who is essentially just saying, she's like Bonnie, but Bonnie should have been in charge. Just saying. Yeah, this show, was a show. I enjoyed parts of it. Even this season, I enjoyed some stuff. Like, No Humanity Hope was fun. When she actually did, you know, some evil shit. I feel like there was definitely moments this season that were great. Like, you know, Michelson's coming back. Even Marcel. That was great. I am gonna miss the universe, but I think it is time to let it go for now. But yeah, what did you guys think? I'd like to know. Let me know what you thought. And that's a wrap on the Vampire Diaries universe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.